Hello everybody, it's Dean here and we are live again for the last time before 2021, right Luke?
It's looming. Merry Christmas everyone.
I've got a Christmas jumper on, as you can see. No, today we're going to be talking about company pages versus personal profiles. Luke had an expletive answer earlier, which he's going to tone down for this so that we don't get in trouble, right?
Yeah, I will. I'll keep it PG 13.
PG-13, you heard it from him. So everybody, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Instagram, whether it be LinkedIn, everybody wants their company page to do well.
Yeah, I think anyone who's been brought in to do their social media, or anyone who's been considering building up their social media presence, it's always the company page. It's the company page, I want company page numbers, I want numbers on here. And it's a bit tedious because the company page is there for a purpose, but it's not the be all and end all, which people think it is.
Yeah, I think everybody hopes that the company page will do the work.
Yeah.
And actually, if a company page performed organically, this is what I say to people, for a company page, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever it is, if you want that to perform, you have to do a shit ton of work.
Yeah, you need someone on it constantly, delivering value, talking to people. Like, we can't all be like these famous Twitter handles with like these sarcastic banter back and forth, because a lot of businesses don't have that brand image to begin with. And it would be weird having like an accountant firm start like slagging people off in the Twitter DMs, isn't it? So you can't always be like that.
Yeah.
And the content you do deliver, it needs to have a certain tone to it, and it takes a lot for anyone to give a shit about a company page.
Yeah. And if you think about it, if company pages did work that way, most of the social media companies would be out of business.
Definitely, yeah.
Because currently we pay Facebook and LinkedIn and all these companies to actually put our company in front of an audience.
Yeah, it used to be easier, and I think they saw that niche and was like, oh, companies will actually pay to promote it, so they kind of pulled back the visibility of company pages on all the platforms and was like, no, you need to pay us now to promote it.
Whereas personal profiles, LinkedIn, Facebook, and all of those platforms are incentivized. They make money off our personal profiles if we stay on the platform and engage with stuff.
Yeah, if we stay there, if we get people to stay there, as a point, getting people to stay and being a part of it, because it's all, the data hoover, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why they love personal over company quite a lot.
So they like us posting. They like us reading other people's posts. They like us interacting with other people on the platform purely because it helps them keep people on the platform.
Yeah, and they don't like company pages just freeloading.
No, it's true though, isn't it? If you think about it, if you make your money from literally giving businesses the opportunity to be put in front of customers, why would they make it easy for you to do it? So you can do it. You can actually make a company page that's really popular.
Yeah.
But you have to put a lot of work in it, far more work than most businesses can justify, at least in the short term.
Yeah, you need those reasons. Like, if you're a company which delivers first-hand industry news, and everyone goes, oh, I'll follow this company because they're always on top of things, they're always pushing out the most interesting blogs, or always putting out the go-to news at the time, you need to give people reasons to go to your company page. Whereas if it's just a personal profile, you're kind of just learning about a person, or what they post, what they like. It's easier to just, in your head mentally, it's easier to just be a part of someone's personal profile.
Yeah.
But to be a part of a company page, people feel like they're going to be sold to, and there's just so much negative press about, following one. So you need to give reasons.
Yeah. So Luke, if somebody said to you, I want to promote my business, should I'm asking you an obvious question given what we've just said, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I want to promote my business on Facebook or LinkedIn. Should I use a personal profile or should I use a page? Which would you say is the easiest route to a sale?
Easiest route to a sale would be using both, but promoting the personal over the company.
So why would they not, given what we've just said, people are watching us now and going, you're saying that they're no use. Why should I have one? Why should I have a company page?
It's not that they're no use. It's more the fact that that company page is going to be basically the big standpoint of where you're feeding all of, or we're going to view it essentially to make sure you're credible, who you are and what you're about. But your personal profile already says that, but it's just kind of reaffirming that, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's like a validation.
Yeah, it's more that exists. This is, obviously legitimizing yourself, your business and what you're about, and reaffirming, because we promote multiple personal profiles on a company page as well, because then it all feeds into one, and then it gives it that, standing point.
So what about if somebody says, okay then, so the best idea is to use a personal profile, and I'm thinking LinkedIn particularly here, why don't I just make a Maverrik personal profile?
Oh, as in be the company, but not a personal page. There's a lot of reasons how it doesn't work. One of the reasons I'd say is because you don't know who's behind that company page. If you've got a personal profile, you don't know really who you're talking to. You don't have that point of contact, and you won't get that familiarity, because we're talking about the whole, people talk to people.
Yeah.
If I come to someone in a company and said, oh, I want to do business with you, I want to talk about things, I wouldn't like talking to a giant M, because I would be like, who's behind this M? It's like talking to like a shady character behind like a screen, isn't it? Just like a shadow man. Just like, oh, so can I get some business? And they're like, sure.
So the company page is a validation piece. It's for advertising, ads and direct ad. We're doing this promotion or what have you.
Use them for lives as well, as we're demonstrating
lives.
right now.
Yeah, lives work pretty well. Lives work incredibly well on pages actually, and pages and profiles. So LinkedIn Live on here, people who follow your page, obviously they get a notification to watch, and a percentage of them are on the platform at the time you go live. So
even if they followed years ago.
Yeah. So we had a funny scenario the other day where somebody said, why do your lives keep coming up? I'll use the polite version of this. They said, why does your lives keep coming up in my feed? I don't want your lives in my feed. And I thought that was quite funny. Like we can control who sees this. We have no idea.
I've got a button under my desk. Just go live on that one particular person's feed.
Anyway, it turned out they'd followed our company page, but didn't like our lives. But seemed to think that we had some degree of control over who saw it.
Yeah, I just think they were confused because we must have appeared directly at the top, just like, hey, these people are live, check this out.
Yeah.
Which is really good, really handy.
So you may be afraid of doing lives like this. You may be afraid of it. And sometimes I come on and go, are we going to have enough stuff to talk about? Because I don't know. Because you talk about that stuff all day long, you don't know whether the people on the other side here are getting value from this or just having some comical amusement at being you cobbling a conversation.
In our second week, I was basically just doing introductions to people, and obviously, when you're on, Dean, it's more of a big topic. We're gonna sort this. We're gonna sort this out. Where I try and approach it more as a conversation. So if anyone wants to do any questions, you can bring it in.
Do you know what the reason is? And then we'll get back to the point. The reason is, despite what you might think, I actually struggle to strike up conversations not about anything to do with work. I'm like actually socially, what's the polite word of saying it? I'm quite socially awkward.
Right.
So somebody in an event can come and ask me questions about something and I'll absolutely fry. But then when that's over, it's like, what do I say now?
I get that. I think small talk is a skill in itself, isn't it? Because you want to have conversations which have a point. Because I do hate the conversation where it's just like, oh, how's the web today? Yeah, great. Because, in a taxi, I'm awful. So, because before the whole situation, you would send your most talkative friend to the front of the car, wouldn't you, to do all the conversations, and you just sit in the back just on your phone, ignoring. So there's always be that one person in your friendship group who would do the little small talk, which is something, I've developed it now. But I do agree that having a conversation that has a point is so much more satisfying, I'd say.
Yeah, which is good point for content, actually.
Yeah, it is.
So, lives are pretty scary, but actually they're a brilliant way to use a company page because of the notifications. And one of the things I would say about this, particularly with company pages, is we always expect too much too quickly with a company page.
Yeah.
I remember somebody saying this, and I don't want to quote him because I don't want to get what he said wrong and inadvertently say something he didn't say. But it's somebody who was very influential on YouTube in the 2009 era when it was kind of just getting going. And he said it took him 150 videos before he got one video over 1,000 views. 150 videos. And you think, most people give up after like 5.
Yeah.
The amount of channels that are up that are just like 5 videos and that's it.
It can be disheartening because I realize whenever you're on, you have a whole another 5 people other than myself. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing these or being a part of like hosting it or anything. I just feel like you do need that momentum build. Like people need to get to know you and you need to just stick at it.
Yeah. And so whether it's a profile or a page, the quickest route to conversations and more content views and more awareness of your business is obviously a profile, you representing your business. But ultimately, the most important thing is obviously people get to know what your business does. And that's the longer game with the company page where you have to kind of work it day in, day out, day in, day out.
I've seen a few people, they build up their company page going like live on social media quite a lot. Like, oh, we've got this really cool thing coming, and they like tease it for a couple of weeks, and then it happens, and then they don't get like the balloons and the celebration that they're expecting. Like, hey, we did it! And they get like 1 or 2 likes, and they're like, oh, I thought it was going to be a bigger scenario.
Do you know what? I learned something from somebody, and we'll do some Q&A in a second because there's a few questions here. I learned something from somebody, and it's actually not to do with social media. It's actually to do with life, but it applies to social media. So it's somebody who's been quite influential in my life. His name's Paul Scanlon. He's on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. And he has this thought that he shares about events versus process. And I don't mean literal events, but I mean, if your mentality is around one thing will happen and it will change everything versus it's a series of actions that will happen that will change everything. And he said, you will be bittered, I can't remember now, it's years, but I've always stuck with me, is if you're looking for that one moment that things change, that live that gets you 1,000 followers, that viral video that gets you loads of business, you'll be bitterly disappointed. It's actually probably loads of things repeated over and over. He said, somebody said to him, how did you achieve what you did? Because he built a big organization and it was like in the limelight and everything, very notable. And somebody said, how did you manage to do this? Like, it's incredible. He said, 20 years of work.
Yeah.
It takes and there's a saying somewhere, it takes 20 years to become an overnight success.
Yeah, I mean, it's annoying when you hear that though, because you're like, I just want the answers, but it is that push, it is that over time, getting it done, which can be quite frustrating. There's no simple answer. You just gotta keep going and milling through it.
So we've got a question here. Aside from staying consistent in trying to generate leads on Facebook and Instagram, what's the other best way to reach a lot of people? I mean, how to modify your account? Okay, so what I'd be doing in this question is I'd be focusing on who are the people I want to help. What's their interest? What's important to them? What's the things that you do that you can help them with? And then I would deliberately, all business, 90% of business is done on relationship. It's done on relationship. Even e-commerce to some degree is done on the relationship of, do they trust the brand they're buying from? And I think you have to, if you want to generate leads for the long term, yes, you could go onto Instagram and Facebook and hit a load of people up like people do on LinkedIn. Yes, you could do that. And if you do enough messages, it will work. But there's a risk to obviously the health of your account. There's a risk to getting banned and all that. But you've got to create relationships. And you don't need to do a lot of messages and a lot of things to create relationships. Right?
That's right.
How many relationships do you need to actually make a sale? Not many, actually.
Depends, yeah, because even when you're thinking about, like you said, e-commerce, because a lot of, let's say a lot of Facebook and Instagram, they target more, I mean, you can target like business to business, but it's more targeting like business to customer, isn't it?
Consumers, yeah.
Consumers, yeah. So in that case, you're talking to more of a community. You're building that community up. So you're talking to people who, enjoy your products or what your product like is a solution for.
Yeah.
So you're talking to people like that, and it's all about, like you said, generate that interest, and you can do all that. But really, it's a constant discussion that you're creating.
And think about it this way. When we come to social media and we have an agenda that we want to sell, we're constantly looking for what's in it for me. In other words, it's a selfish need. We want sales.
Yeah, it's sales.
But actually what the consumer wants, or your potential customer is to know, is what's in it for me.
Yeah.
And so if you approach it looking for what you want and don't serve the people who are looking for what they want, you will end up having to do very aggressive marketing strategies, thousands of messages, and all that kind of stuff.
It's not the circle and what's in the middle. You just need to be in their circle.
Yeah, you join their circle. So interact with them, build relationships with them, don't try and sell them, give some free value, see the benefit in what you do, understand their problems, their frustrations, and then you join their world. Don't expect them to join yours, you go join theirs.
Exactly. So I've been told I need to keep you.
It's our last day in the office, so we're really keen to go home. And now I know it's the last day in the office, the kind of last business day, I actually feel really tired.
Is it all hit you at the end? Because you have that push to make sure everyone's happy and no pieces of work left in the air, because there's nothing worse than having a piece of work you need to come back to in the new year.
Yeah, but for me, what it's been is like this year has been about, I was talking to somebody earlier and it was like when all the kind of COVID stuff hit, it was like we didn't know how it was going to pan out. We all thought it was going to be shorter than it was, but it was still, do you remember that first lockdown? It was like everybody go, oh no, the world's going to end kind of thing. And we somehow got through, and we've had, a better year than most. Most people are just hanging on. We've done reasonably well. But all the way through the year, you were wondering what's going to happen next. And then suddenly we get to the end of the year and it's like, I can breathe for a little bit. Yeah. So it's just like, ugh.
We've had some ease over the time.
Yeah.
Because we went from unknown to, okay, now there's a plan, and then
and it's almost like we've got used to working and operating in this environment.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the new year.
So from me and Luke, I'd like to wish you the best Christmas you can have in these circumstances. We will be back in January on Monday the 4th.
Yep.
And I wish you, how do I say it? You do the Happy New Year thing.
Okay, I'll go for the... So for everyone here at Maverrik, we wish you a very happy Christmas, a very safe Christmas, and a very strong start to New Year. We'll be back on the 4th of January. Don't forget, if you want to get in touch and start it off fresh, we've got, we're not going to deliver any courses, but if you visit our website, you'll see all the things you can do.
And the free training.
That's what I was trying to push. It's a lot of free training to get yourself prepared for the new year.
Tons of free training on the website.
Exactly.
So have a good Christmas, and like he said, have a safe and prosperous new year.